Adams, and I will second that. Any other comment, questions? Impacted community? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item, Matt.
Okay, you're on 22, consideration and approval of the Crimson Cliff subdivision phase 3.
Okay, same subdivision. This is the phase 3. This is 8 additional lots. This finishes out the subdivision, at least the portion. So phase 3 is 8 lots. Was at the planning commission last Thursday night and is for commission signature.
Motion to
Thank
approve.
you. Motion by Commissioner Adams. I will second the motion. How far are we on this phase 3 right now?
He's working on phase 2 and wanted to get the rest of the property subdivided in phase 3. So he didn't have to wait to continue building the road and everything. It's all part of the road is split between phase 2 and phase 3. The road has to go. So.
Okay. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item, Matt.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on here is consideration and approval of the McElmo Creek Bridge Amendment. This is presented by TJ Adair, our County Road Superintendent.
Okay, I think everybody's familiar with that bridge down there. The original contract in 2019, the cost estimate was $1.4 million. After they finished the completion of the project and everything, it's actually $2.5 million. So the Navajo Nation, their 6.77% match is short $71,071. Reached out to them, they've agreed to fund the remaining, and so this is an attachment to our contract with them for the $71,071. So there's no cost to the county for this. We're handling all the finances in the project on this for the Navajo Nation. So I just need a signature from the commission, and then we'll go to our attorney, and then it'll go to President Nez and their attorney from the Navajo Nation.
Motion would be in order.
Motion to approve.
Second the motion. Which office is the one that seems to be dragging its feet? I know that NDOT not doing what he's supposed to be doing.
This goes to Garrett Silversmith's office. And so they hadn't sent us anything back for quite a while, but it was because they were trying to get the funding. They just didn't communicate. That's why they hadn't got with us. And so now they've got the funding secured, and all what's in your packet has been approved by me and by Silversmith's office. And so it's just got to go from here, and then we'll send our stuff signed, and it'll go to President Nez and their attorney. So after we get this signed, it should go pretty quick, and then they get us the money so we can go with that project. It's supposed to go out to bid here in the next few days, as far as I know. They had to push it back a little bit because we haven't had all this stuff done. So,
okay. All right. Well, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. Mac?
Okay. Thanks, guys. Appreciate that. So the next one on the agenda, you have an ordinance establishing a notary service and fee for the recorder's office to be utilized only for county recording of public documents related to the recorder's services. Just kind of a side note on here, why you see this ordinance before you today. The recorder's office fees are set by state code. It does have a caveat in there that if there's additional fees that the council or commission would want to charge, then they would have to do so by an ordinance. And so that's why you have this ordinance before you today. We just kind of going back and kind of something that Cindy had discovered is just an inefficiency within the office itself, as we had residents going out before they trying to record their plat maps. They would plat maps are done on the Mylar, and you're familiar with the Mylar. As you sign those, they're pretty tender, and that stamp can smear. A notary of the public's stamp cannot be smeared, and so she's found a way to go in and order a special stamp for the Mylars that will not smear. And with that, she's willing to offer those services and contribute those funds that comes from the recording or the use of that notary stamp would go back into the general fund. So that's also to note as well. We also need to note that this isn't a public notary that is open to anybody in the county, cities. It's strictly for those that are utilizing the recorder service.
Okay. Motion will be in order. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
I can hear you, Commissioner Maryboy, but everybody else is frozen on my screen.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's me.
I can hear you too, Commissioner Maryboy.
Okay.
Okay, so that's Linda and Carolyn. This may be a Mac problem, I don't know.
Oh, could be.
I've had such a terrible time with this today. I'm surprised I can hear you and then no one else can.
I can hear Commissioner Maryboy. This is Monette Clark. I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, it's I just got cut off. Hello, Matt.
Maybe you need to call back in, Commissioner Maryboy.
I don't know. Everybody else appears to be muted. I wonder if they unmuted, if they could hear him.
It's John Weisside. Can you hear me?
Yeah, John, I can hear you.
Hello.
Yeah, we should just stay on because the Zoom meeting has a specific number. They'll realize that they're no longer connected and
Okay.
Hopefully.
Oh boy.
Well, I noticed
Yeah.
Mr. McDonald is, he seems,
Hello. Matt.
Sorry, I was on mute.
Ah.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
How did I get on mute?
I think we went down here for a second, and so we should be back up now. Sorry about that. I don't know when I dropped off on the explanation. All of a sudden yeah. So how much of that did you get, Commissioner Maryboy? I know Commissioner Adams here by my ear. He would have got everything, but let me re-explain that, why we're here for this item. So we are on item 24, and this is an ordinance establishing a notary service and fee for the recorder's office to be utilized only for the county recording of public documents related to recorder services. And then with
if I'm not mistaken, I asked for a motion and Bruce motioned it and I seconded it. And I asked for last comment, nothing. And just when I called for the question, that's when I dropped off. Is that so, Bruce?
Sure.
Okay, so we had
All right. Well, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Okay, moving on down to item number 25.
Okay, you have an ordinance establishing an internal administrative cash receipting and deposit policy for the San Juan County. Administration within all departments and offices. This one will be presented by County Treasurer Glennis. She's here. Glennis, thanks for your patience on her. She'll be explaining this policy here.
Okay, I believe you've all had a chance to review the policies, hopefully. So the first one is for cash receipting and deposit. And it basically just sets up controls for basically all the departments in the county that receive cash. And how much detail would you like?
I'll just give a summary on the purpose. You have that.
And okay, so the purpose of the policy is to just establish a uniform control design for all the departments of the county that receive cash. I have developed this with input from the clerk auditor and external auditors, also the state audit office.
Any questions for her?
That, Glennis, is that it?
Yes.
All right, motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion for approval. I will second that. Any last questions or comment, Bruce?
No, I think this is a good policy to have in place.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, now all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, Glennis. And the next item would be the same item that's hers too, Mac.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right. And this one is an investment policy, which we've had for quite some time, which sets up the parameters for investing the county's funds.
Motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second that motion. Any questions or comment? If there be none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. The next one is yours too, Glennis.
Yes, right. And so this one is an ordinance establishing an internal division of responsibilities and internal controls for the various departments and offices. Primarily, it's between the clerk's office and the treasurer's office.
It says you have to share the screen with me. Let me open. Don't worry about it right now.
Motion?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Adams, and I will second that motion. Any comment, questions, the last minute? There be none. All those in favor? I'm calling for the question. All those in
Aye.
favor? Aye. Thank you very much. Okay, Mac, the next item is yours.
Did you have another statement?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank Mac for his help in getting these in the proper format and everything. Thank you.
No, thank you. No, those policies are critical. So I think Glennis for her time in getting those, that helps on an audit trail, make sure that we're in compliance with state code. And so greatly appreciated to have those in here. So the next item on your agenda, you have a resolution authorizing the continuation of allowing employees who have contracted COVID-19 to have 80 hours of paid leave to quarantine and prevent the spread of the virus to other residents of San Juan County. And so back in December, when the initial Families First Coronavirus Relief Act expired, it did away with the fact that we weren't charging, we weren't charging sick leave or vacation hours to employees. We had, let me see, hold on, we're having some technical issues on here, let me see. So any employee now, so after December 31st, once they did away with this program, they've kind of added an exception in here, the U.S. Treasury Department. They've kind of allowed for companies to continue with this program, but there's no tax credits that are allowed to use. But companies can go in and voluntarily continue the program through March 31st. And so we've seen that clause in there as an opportunity to afford our county employees, if they do get COVID during this time from December 31st on until that March 31st, that we will pretty much honor the fact that they continue to work here. They will not have to use sick or vacation or long-term sick leave up to that 80 hours. There's conditions in the resolution in here that if they've taken leave prior to this, throughout this whole COVID period, if they've taken leave before, they're not able to add on to that 80 hours of leave. If they've used it in the past, they can't do it again. So this is only a one-time use of 80 hours. I'm hearing some rumblings and seeing President Biden's efforts with the CARES Act and some of the relief that he's proposing. One of them is a continuation of this program so that employees, they're not dinged for getting COVID. We want to make sure that if an employee here in San Juan County does in fact come down and have to quarantine because of COVID, that they do so, that they don't have to worry about their sick or vacation, their long-term sick being in jeopardy, that they can continue to quarantine. And then we, on our side of it, we don't have to worry about employees not testing due to COVID, just in an avoidance of saving their leave. And so we're hoping that you'll see favor with this resolution and pass it so that we can continue to offer. It's something that it's already budgeted as their original salary in our county budgets. We just wouldn't hurt them with any leave up until March 31st, when hopefully we can get things like this extended by the federal government. Any questions?
Okay. Do we have any motion?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I just want to know if this additional leave is being funded with COVID funds.
No, it is not. And it wasn't before in the past. Because it was already on a salary, this was an EFML that was allowed up to 80 hours, and that EFML went away. It was never funded by COVID hours. We just quarantined employees and they had that right. One of the things that it also removes is that the fact that employees can use this leave in the past for taking care of, their dependents, their spouses. We also remove that as well. This is strictly just for employees. It doesn't give you the 10 additional weeks for caring for sick household members. It's just, we will continue to honor the 80 hours as we have in the past.
So
Motion for discussion.
It's in our salaries.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Can I make a motion to approve?
Motion for approve, but for discussion. Matt, can you send a letter as well? I think our county office is a government, and every other areas, even on Navajo, a lot of those offices, they're considered as a front line people, and they're getting their shots. And I don't know why we have our staff being exposed. Maybe that's something that needs to be considered as well. And the response that you will have to this is that we need to have our frontline people to be given their vaccines.
Okay. We can definitely address that in our meetings.
Okay. All those in favor, calling for the question.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much. John David Nelson.
All right, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. All right, so have a resident who's requesting an abatement of their property taxes for last year, for 2020. They have already made a partial payment of the property taxes, but there's an amount due of $677. And the reason that they are requesting an abatement is because of disability on Social Security. They live in a structure that that is below poverty level, with no running water, no shade or cooling, and just kind of in a hard situation, and requesting the commission to abate the remaining amount of the property taxes for 2020.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to have some discussion.
Yeah, that's what we're making a motion for. I will second that motion. Go ahead, Bruce.
I just wondered, who, is this a recommendation from your office or from the assessor? Or from the treasurer? Who makes these
Who is recommending this?
recommendations? Yeah.
It's not really a recommendation.
Oh.
There was the time period for filing for an abatement came and went.
Okay.
And so at that point,
It's just a late application.
it's just a late application.
Okay. But they meet all the qualifications for abatement.
Well, so the abatement is on we can do an abatement on the primary residence, and the property that's on here is not listed as primary, as secondary.
Doesn't fit the definition for an abated property if it's a secondary residence. I think we're setting a bad precedent to approve this request. Commissioner Maryboy?
Yeah. Okay. A recommendation has been made by Commissioner Adams. Any other comments to that? Is this an item that we're doing the first time, or have we done this before? And if not, are we ready for the recurrence of doing it for everybody else? Is that how this is going to go, David?
Every once in a while, we get a situation like this where the abatement time period has come and gone, and there's a request to abate or forgive the property taxes. But this is the first time from this individual.
Okay.
Commissioner Maryboy?
Yes, Commissioner Adams.
As I stated, this individual has a primary residence someplace else. This is their secondary residence, and secondary residents do not qualify for tax abatement under the rules. So I would recommend or make a motion we deny the request.
Okay. Not being familiar with the idea, Administrator, is that so? For the record.
What will happen on this is, if you deny it today, it'll then go into the state, and the state will be able to review this as well.
Correct.
And so it'll go to an appeal process at the state level. But I completely can understand and appreciate the comments that you do not want to do this to all of the property owners that have secondary residence. I think part of the argument is whether this is primary or secondary, but my recommendation would be to let the state decide that.
Well, my position is that I'm not standing by the recommendation. I just wanted to hear more, because I completely understand if we don't have enough, if we don't have the money, then we can't do it. If we do have, then what does the policy say? And that's the reason why I asked you, is that you seem to say that this is an item that we need to do, And if there's a policy that says that a secondary home is considered to be a service as well, then that's where we're at. So is that what you're saying?
No, this is a John David discussion and presentation. No, that's not correct. Anybody has a right to come in and ask for a waiver of their property tax or an appeal process. Like our clerk auditor mentioned, that time had already expired for that to be done. I don't know, John David, if you have anything else to add to that?
Not really. Just that there are certain criteria that's put out by the state for an individual or individuals to receive an abatement on their property. And one of them is that it be a primary residence. Currently, on this tax roll, it's not listed as a primary residence. It's listed as a secondary residence, which is an assessor function, and so that is, and so it technically would not meet the criteria based on that.
Okay. I'm only asking because of the recommendation that was made, and I will be seconding the motion for the discussion only. And what's your position is to approve this? Is that what you want, David?
Well, the property owner's request is to approve an abatement of the remaining balance of the property taxes on that piece of property.
Well, the reason why I'm asking is you're the presenter. You're not an agent. You're the presenter to this particular item. And Bruce has a good point. And at the same time, I just need to know before I take a position on this.
The recommendation would be that they do not. They don't meet the criteria.
Okay, Bruce, go ahead.
Yeah, if they don't meet the criteria or haven't applied before the deadline, then technically they are not eligible, but they can appeal it to the state, and the state will then make a final decision. So I think we ought to deny it and let it go to the state and let the state make the recommendation. Todd, don't be.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying that because you and Matt are making some good points as a secondary resident, and this request should not be approved today because she can appeal to the state, is my understanding.
Right.
Correct. And we would help her with that process.
So that means that to me, I will probably take an opposition on the motion that's being taken, because that way it will give her the right steps to do what needs to happen. Right, Matt?
Correct.
No, you have to vote to deny it in order to move it on to the state, Kenneth. As a county commissioner, they can apply for it, but the staff can't make the decision. It's only the county commissioners that can make the decision whether to approve the request or deny the request. If we deny the request, then it moves on to the state.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. So we're taking a position here. Your motion for approval, to deny this because of the second residency.
Right.
And Matt and John differs your position because they say that it doesn't have to be, but the state is open to do this. So at this point in time, to not support this, the motion that you make, that's where it will be then.
Yes.
All right. All those in favor, calling for the question.
Aye.
Aye. All right. That concludes our agenda. Thank you very much. I don't know if you guys, if you want to make any commissioner's report, Bruce. If not,
I do. I have a really important item.
Okay, I'm gonna try to contact Willie today and see how he's doing and where he's at and what's going on. All right, go ahead, Bruce.
Okay, the Utah Association of Counties had a meeting last week and made a request of counties, and I'm going to kind of read this to you because I want you to think about it, Mac, and Todd's here too. It says, the Transportation Investment Fund and Transportation Investment Fund, these are known as the TIF and the TTIF, nominations process for projects to be considered for funding prioritization is open. So we can nominate a project to be open in our area. And it says, and this is for long range planning. The nominations are being accepted and are eligible up to 5 o'clock on March the 31st, 2021. And the TIF, the Long Range Transportation Investment Fund, all highway projects current in phase 1 of the long range plan, and they have a map, are automatically included in the list. I don't know what transportation projects are included. I'm concerned about two things. Number one, I'm concerned about the traffic and the traffic pattern from Grand County to Blue Hill. I think that traffic is going to increase substantially. I'd like the county to nominate that section of the highway for a 4-lane highway in the long range planning. And the second thing is, and this will overlap with the first thing, I think we need a 4-lane highway from Spanish Fork all the way to the Arizona-Colorado border in the state of Utah, just like they have on the western side of the state with, is it I-15, Mac?
Yeah.
I-15. So this is an effort to do some long-range planning with transportation, and with the amount of trucks that pass through 491, 191, 163, in San Juan County, that I think the amount of trucks has doubled or tripled over the last 20 years. And, you know, it just seems to me like this corner of the state kind of gets forgotten. We have a new governor who is committed to doing things in rural Utah. I think we need to be proactive as a county commission, suggesting some long-range transportation projects. I'm not saying that these are the only things that we should consider as a county commissioner or county staff, but certainly those two projects jump out to me really quick. I just think we need 4 lanes all the way to Spanish Fork from San Juan County, and I've been preaching this for 20 years. So I with your permission, Commissioner Mayor, I'd like to direct staff and Todd and others to put together some kind of a letter or proposal to the Transportation Investment Fund to fund a project as I've described it.
Okay. Well, that's a good, a really good position. As a matter of fact, I think Dimitri has been winning a lot of votes because he's been telling the people that he was going to do that, and that never happened. Maybe it's about time this commissioners can make that happen. I guess, Matt, can you look at the legal part of it and see what we can do and how we can get this thing going? It sounds like a good idea. Maybe have a letter drafted.
Absolutely, we can do that.
The other thing I had, Commissioner Maryboy, is the legislature starts this Wednesday. It's going to be all virtual. Nobody can really attend, although I think there are some county commissioners that are trying to meet up north and try and interact with the legislature using the resources of UAC. There's going to be a virtual meeting of county commissioners and county elected officials, I believe on every Thursday morning from 10 to 11. I got an email on that today. I'm trying to, let's see, I'm looking up right now. Yeah, it's from 10 to 11:30 and it's on a Zoom. And it's the UAC Legislative Policy Committee meeting, and it's weekly, every Thursday from 10 a.m. to 11:30.
Okay.
So if you want to attend that meeting on Zoom, we can send you the link.
I would like that. Yes. If Zoom doesn't work here, which normally doesn't work, but can we call in?
Yeah, they have a
Yeah,
phone
they have a
number.
call-in number, right?
Okay, give me those. Give me both of those so I can try to make some contacts there. And thank you so much, Bruce. That really
Okay, I
helped.
think you may have an invitation already, but if you don't, I'll send mine invitation to Mac and he can get it.
Got it. I can send it right now.
He can get, oh, he's got it.
Yeah.
He can
I've got
send it. He can send it right now to you and Willie so that you can get on those weekly meetings to keep track of what the legislature is doing now. I'm pretty concerned about the legislature, to be honest with you, because they're not receiving any face-to-face input from counties or citizens. And so virtually they're conducting the legislative session in the dark, behind closed doors, not very transparent. I know that there are going to be bills that we're going to have great concern about, that people are trying to fix problems where there aren't problems. And so I'm pretty concerned about this whole process right now with the legislature. I even signed a letter for myself asking the legislature to reconsider delaying the legislative session this year or even postponing it this year for those very reasons, because we are not able to interact with them.
Yeah, well, they need to understand that no matter what, we need their support and we need their help. And I personally know that I have no friends at the Hills, so which I don't mind. But if you guys have a really good connection with these people, then I think you should do whatever you can to keep in contact with them and try to keep the ball rolling. But I like to have those information so I can call
Yeah,
them.
will do.
Perfect. Thank you, Bruce. Well, I don't have a whole lot of report that I will be doing, but it seems like the biggest thing out here is, people are falling out of the sky like flies. And I just had a niece that just passed on, and we had a funeral not too long ago, last week. And Albert Holiday from Monument Valley?
Yes.
He passed on from COVID.
You're kidding.
Well, so that was a heartbreaking that happened. So I have another group of people that's up the road that I need to see if we can get some food and wit to them because of they're being quarantined at the house. One individual went to the clinic and got checked and didn't realize that she came home with the virus and everybody in the house caught it. So these are the things that I'm dealing with out here. So I really appreciate the way you're out meeting with people. So that's it's kind of my report. And thank you very much. And I'm motion to adjourn with in order.
Kenneth, can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
Last week, the Lieutenant Governor came to Blanding to visit our health district and consider what's going on with vaccinations. I was not able to attend. I had a doctor's appointment up north for my shoulder surgery, and I think Mac attended. I just wonder if Mac could give us a real quick summary of that meeting.
Yeah, please.
Awesome, appreciate that. And that segue into that. So the Lieutenant Governor did come down. A lot of it was within transition. You have Kirk, our public health officer, was leaving about that same time as she was coming down. A lot of the questions stemmed from just ordinary distribution of our vaccine, how we were set up, and basic needs that we would have here in San Juan County. So in our vaccination process, we explained to her kind of where we were at in the system, and we've gone through, kind of like you had mentioned, Commissioner, is we had gone through and given shots to our essential employees, our essential workers, that would be our EMS, our sheriff, any local authorities, the policing authorities throughout the county, fire department, ambulance, all of them have been taken care of, as well as any health worker, health employee, any of our clinic nurses, doctors. They've all received the vaccinations as well. And then breaking down from that, we've gone through and started the teacher process, and that's kind of where we're at right now. We, as we look at the overall amount of doses that we're receiving, we're only receiving 100, 200 doses a week, so pretty minimal. But when you look at overall distribution, some of the questions were, are we geared up? Can we handle more doses here in the county? Do we have a distribution process in place? What were kind of the barriers that we have out there in the county? The governor, as far as priority, has given this probably his top priority of everything else, including budget and legislative session. He says the vaccine distribution is even higher than the legislative session and even higher than his budget, like I had mentioned. And so we had mentioned that some of the problems that we're faced with is just a shortage of staff. If we all of a sudden open this up to the public and we're inundated with a bunch of calls, is there a process that we can set up a call center so that we can take the calls and register people for appointments? Another point that we made sure that they're aware of is just our website. We had a broken website. And because of that meeting, because of the comments there, we garnered the assistance from the state and were able to get that, some of the bugs worked out on our county's website regarding vaccinations. And so we now have an appointment portal for citizens. Once we're taking appointments to our citizens, they'll be able to go in, log into the system, enter in some short, brief information, and register for an appointment. Currently, right now, we're working to vaccinate not only our teachers at that level, but also this week we're opening up the process to our 70 and older age group. And so with our 70 and older age group, we have a lot of seniors that we're already tracking within our senior services program with Tammy. We have a pretty in-depth list, about 400 individuals here in the county that are on our aging and adult services list. And so we're reaching out to those individuals and setting up appointments with them that are already on that list. And then once we're through that list, then we'll open up for that application process to set up appointments. Again, I think part of the difficulty that we have here is, last week we received 100 doses between 500 teachers or school district staff and 400 aging and adult services individuals. That 100 doses doesn't go very far. And so
is that from the state?
That's from the state that we're receiving. And so when we look at distribution, that's probably the frustration for all throughout the state. Something that I heard today on some of the meetings is everybody's just frustrated. We're not getting a lot of doses. The doses that we have don't go very far. At this point in time, if we averaged out that many doses, it's going to take us about 37 weeks to get through the half of the population of the county. We're anticipating half of the population, if they've gone in to UNHS and have participated in UNHS services within the last 4 years, then that's kind of who UNHS will distribute to. So we estimate that's around half of our population here. And so 37 weeks to get through the other half is a long time. And so we're hoping that we can get more vaccines. And that was one of the things that we stressed to her is, we need more. We just need help with the system. But we're up and ready to go once we can get that going. So that was kind of primarily, she's going around visiting all of the health departments throughout the state. And I am sure that us being the first one, I'm sure that she's heard more and more of that as she's continued throughout the state. But that's kind of a brief summary as well as an overview of where we're at with distribution right now.
So if vaccine comes to San Juan County about like money comes from the state to San Juan County. Very slow and very little.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's good information, Matt. Thank you for attending that meeting and looking out for the people here. Appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
Well, any other questions, comment, Bruce or Mac or John in any way before we adjourn?
No, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Commissioner Adams, and I will second that. All those in favor in adjourning?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, Commissioner. You be safe and please keep an eye out as you travel. When you go up to Salt Lake, ask Governor Cox and see if we could meet sometime to talk about some certain things here in the county, mainly the road that that Willie was talking about.
Well, I think he wanted to get on the call at the end of the commission today, but they just weren't able to schedule that. He contacted me and told me he wants to meet with our commission as soon as possible. So we're just waiting for him to get a hold of us and let us know when he can.
Well, as soon as you get your shot, and then as soon as Willie gets back, and let's plan on heading up there and sit down and talk with him.
All right.
All right.
Okay, you guys.
Well, thank you very much, and you guys have a good day. And use the stamp, Matt.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate that.
All
Talk
right.
to you. Okay, bye.
Bye.